Joining me is veteran Coachella attendee in the black V. Outside lands, doesn't know what to do with his hands, Siller. You've played the Battlefield 5 open beta. I've played the Battlefield 5 open beta. We played together.
Yes, we did.
Let me ask you, what do you think?
So far, I think I'm really digging it. You know, I definitely like some of the new features they've added, like the replenishing of the ammo and the health. That doesn't go to 100% now. You have to go to an ammo crate to reach that 100%. Really digging the no spotting feature right now. There's no more red Doritos above their heads. You kind of have to scan and look for the uniforms to do that. And then biggest thing I'm super stoked for is everybody can revive. You don't necessarily need the medic to
Yes, anybody on your squad can revive, and there is no spotting unless you have that little telescope for the recon class.
On the scout class.
Which you really have to be making a trade there, right? You're no longer sniping, instead you're looking out for people. But it is very helpful, and it does, the Dorito does stick over their head for quite a long time. That being said, most of the time you just have to visually piece people out of the environment, which I think is a lot more visceral of an experience. And the other thing that we definitely need to touch on is the time to kill. So when you compare this to Battlefield 1, I think Battlefield 1 was very much about playing the UI, having your loadout, playing your class. Battlefield 5 to me feels more like a shooter for the sake of being a shooter. The time to kill is lightning fast.
It is,
and
it is.
It's much more visceral without those spotting mechanics. The question is the time to kill too fast? What do you think?
Right now, it definitely feels like it. You know, I feel like the #1 popular gun right now is the STG with the assault class, and that gun just kind of drops him down. If you give him like a solid 3-round burst and just double tap that mouse pad, ooh man, you're gonna knock him down with just click, click.
Yeah. No, it does a ton of damage. It's pretty effective at range. You can go semi-automatic with it, 30-round magazine, and it is kind of the starting weapon for the assault class. And what's crazy about the STG-44 is you have this whole progression tree, and you can do things like faster ADS, faster bullet travel velocity.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
There's 2 branches in that. One of them is kind of like more of a run and gun archetype where you know, you kind of aim faster. Whenever you're running and you stop, you can switch weapons faster. And then the kind of opposite to that one is more of a stationary, more accurate shooting. So I know you'll have more accurate fires. You're standing still and shooting down at them.
Yeah, I went for the right tree, and so far I have to say that I feel like all of the shortcomings of that gun are addressed when you spec into the appropriate tree, and therefore I feel like it's kind of one of the only choices right now. It seems to be vastly the most popular weapon. Obviously there are weapons that have yet to be introduced. Snipers were hit pretty hard, but people are still sniping, people are still getting headshots. I feel like sniping is in an okay spot. I know that's a little bit
and you know,
controversial.
one thing I noticed is just even with body shots, it really just only does 53 damage. I mean, that's right off the bat, just half of it. I remember Battlefield 1, when you're doing the SMLE, you're doing at least 60 plus, and if you get on that sweet spot, you could do a 1-shot, 1-kill.
Right.
I have yet to see that. It's if you're really not hitting them in the head with the sniper class, it's kind of a little iffy.
You don't really feel that great about it. I tried sniping, and my experience was I didn't really gravitate to it initially. The other big part of sniping that has taken a hit in addition to the damage, the bullet velocity has actually been reduced, but the thing that gets me is that reduced ammo capacity. And that is across the board, and that is a change that I generally agree with, because I feel like you should have to think about, okay, we just took this point, I need to resupply, I need to get my health kit that I can use later, and I need to rearm, and then I can get back into it instead of just kind of, you know, brute forcing your way through all of these.
The thing I caught myself doing all the time is as soon as I spawned, I gave myself that 1 ammo patch, gave myself those extra mags, and that's pretty much how I engaged every single battle I went out to go on.
Sure, I don't know if this was in the closed alpha, but certainly in the open beta, anytime that you were healed by a medic, you get an extra medic pack. You can hold 5 to kind of reinvigorate your healing boost, as it were, straight out of the gate. So I take a couple hits, I go into cover, I hit 5, and I basically pull out a first aid kit, and I'm able to regen, where normally you're not able to regen that much. I like that change a lot. But let me ask you something. You're a big aircraft guy, going all the way back in Battlefield's history. Aircraft feel pretty nerfed in Battlefield 5. I have yet to be killed by a single aircraft. So
I
what do you
have yet
think?
to kill an infantry person with the single one. I know there's 2 classifications, and I think one of them leans more towards kind of hitting infantry on the ground. Oh man, there's been several times when I would just do a strafing run and I would hit him like, you know, to a good 60 or 70% damage to try and kill the enemy, but I could never finish him off. And by the time you do the loop around to go back for another strafing run, the enemy's already moved.
Right?
Yeah, so I've yet to actually, I know it's still early in the open beta, but I have yet to kill somebody on the ground with it.
So overall, there are certainly a ton of changes to the kind of dynamic landscape of Battlefield 5 from Battlefield 1. Things like recoil, things like reduced ammunition, things like an increased time to kill. But I'm definitely interested, I'm engaged. It feels very different, it feels very visceral. And the thing that I absolutely love is team play is just cranked to 11. You need the support player, you need the medic to enable you. The folks who really succeed in this game are the ones who stick together. I think that's a really exciting thing. I think this is kind of the place that the hardcore fans want the series to go. But we'll see if that time to kill maybe needs to change.